Learn about the strides female entrepreneurs of color are making. Be inspired by their story and enlightened by their leadership, insight, and advice.
Welcome to She Leads Podcast, Leadership Empowerment for Women of Color. I'm your host, Nicole Walker, and this is Season 6, Episode 6, entitled Evaluate Your Circle with Barbara Hoard. Be sure to go to nicolewalker.net/blog to check out Barbara's bio and learn more about her and her business. Hi, Barbara. Welcome to She Leads Podcast, Leadership Empowerment for Women of Color. We appreciate you joining us today, and we're so excited to learn more about you and your journey.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
You're welcome. Okay, so can we start by you telling us a little about your background and what you currently do?
Absolutely. So for the longest time, I would say for the last few years, I have been working on different women empowerment. I have done workshops, I've done coaching, I've done so many different things, and it's really interesting. I think it's a kind of a rise and fall, and I have finally figured out something that I feel is right for me, and it's called I Am This Woman, and it is a weekly show that I do on my Facebook, and where I'm interviewing different women about what they're up to, what they're creating, and really what are their dreams and their passions about.
Nice. Okay, so can you tell us about your background and how you ended up in your current position or profession?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background, I would say marketing, advertising, creative services. I've worked for really large corporations, and I was working for one of those corporations when they brought me into the office one day and said, "Thank you so much. Your services are no longer needed." After almost 10 years of being there and working some tireless hours. And when that happened, I took some other jobs, and, I still have my full-time job, but my passion definitely, this has driven me to my passion of doing this interview show.
Okay, nice. You know what? I'm just amazed at how so many stories of entrepreneurship or of following your dreams and your passions start with the company laid me off. It's
So much so.
countless times I've heard this, and like I always say, it could be such a defeating moment, but yet we never know why stuff like that happens, because let's say it didn't happen. Would you be here? Would I Am This Woman even exist? Right?
Not at all. I would still be there. They were paying me a really big salary
Okay.
with very large bonuses, and I would still be there. There's not even a doubt in my mind. And it took me 5 years to get over that and feeling all the things that I went through to even be able to be in this spot right now and to now be grateful for that moment.
Okay. Yeah, it does take time, but good. I'm glad you're now grateful, right?
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go down in time or back in time, take a scroll down memory lane, as they say, right? Can you tell us what you wanted to be when you grew up?
A teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, I love kids, and teaching to me probably is one of the most rewarding things. So I remember growing up, I always used to play school, and I was the teacher.
Wow. Okay. All right. So talk to us about the kind of upbringing that you had as a child. How was that?
I felt like it was traveling because there was always so many changes. My father married quite a bit and divorced quite a bit to marry quite a bit. And so I was always moving around. So to me, there was not a lot of stability. And then there was a lot of stability with my family. But for sure, I think that I was always feeling like I never had a permanent space. Never felt that way. And it's interesting how I look at life now that I love to travel and go. But for sure, I had a great family as far as that, but seemed like there was always something missing from that.
Okay, that is so interesting because I don't know, we moved. Did we move a lot? I don't know, but I do know that I remember I went to 2 grammar schools. I went to 2 middle schools, and middle schools is only 2 years, right? I went to 2 middle schools and I went to 2 high schools, right? So
Wow. Yeah.
I've always looked at that negatively, but I love how you put a positive spin on it. Like, that's why I love to travel, because I love to travel as well.
Yeah.
So I like that. Yeah, I like that positive spin on that situation. I always felt like I didn't have any roots. Like, I never stayed
Right.
anywhere long enough to get roots. And I kind of regret not having many friends that I carried for years and years and years, because I didn't really stay anywhere long enough to have them. But
Yeah.
it is a benefit to going places or always going somewhere, is that, you have that spirit in you. And I feel like travel is life. So, why
Oh,
not?
it is. It's fantastic. And it's interesting. I really didn't get my friends, my true best friends, until I was in my like 30s.
Okay.
And yeah, I literally, my best friends that I call now have been in my life like for the last like 20 years, but were not in my life all the way throughout. When I talk to people who said, "Oh, my friend is with me since fourth grade," I have no idea what that's like.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate to that too. Okay, good. So that means there's hope for me out there still to find some.
There is. Maybe I'll be your new best friend. Yay!
Yes. I love it. I love it. Now, you said something else I wanted to touch on, because I don't hear that often, but you were raised by your father?
I was. My mother left when I was 18 months old.
Mm,
She decided to leave. My father was a serviceman. So imagine, she came from Germany. So imagine in the 60s, mid 60s, here comes this white woman coming to America, right, from Germany with three kids and
mhm.
biracial kids at that. Um, I found a place to forgive now, but she left when I was 18. I saw her again when I was 18 years old. So
Mhm.
you imagine this is 16 years in between. So my father was the one who raised me. And I would say that probably my dynamic spirit, how strong I am, is because of that. And then I had different, women, stepmoms come in and out of my life.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I know someone near and dear to me, she was raised by her dad, and I kind of like wondered how that affected her. So thank you just for sharing a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It affects you and it affects what kind of mom you are. And it affects, like for me, I couldn't even imagine leaving my son at
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
But it definitely had something on me of what did I do? What happened that she
Mm.
didn't want to stay? And I was the baby.
Yeah.
So I have one picture of her when I was little. And that's the
Mm.
only picture I have of her at all in my life.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm glad you turned that around to make sure that you
Yes.
are being the best mom that you can be, right? Because
I'm amazing.
awesome. I love that. I love confidence, right? Yeah. If you don't think you're amazing, no one else will. So that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. We can take things that happen and use it as a positive or a negative. So I love how, everything, even the way you look at stuff is a positive.
Right.
It's amazing. All right. So can you tell us about a pivotal point in your life and how it shaped who you are today?
Uh, yeah, for sure. My gosh, I'm trying to think. There's so many of them, but I would say that really, I would say the last maybe year and a half, when I was going to move out of Florida and I was going to move someplace. I didn't know exactly where, and everything. I say God does it. God moved everything else out the way for me to stay in Florida and just move further up north. And when that happened, I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? I left my apartment, my all my belongings are in storage. I'm kind of in between jobs. And when that all happened, it really brought me to a place of I can either do the woe is me and really live in that space, or I can be grateful for it. And when I did that, something shifted within me. And when it shifted within me, I started to really work on what is most important. And then I think that's where the road to I Am This Woman became, because of this last year of letting go, surrendering, and
Mm.
leaving so much behind and a brand new start. And it was about 8 weeks ago that it did like this. And 8 weeks ago is when I started I Am This Woman. And it's like my life has completely changed.
Wow.
Completely.
Wow, I love that. You used a keyword that I'm not sure if other people are aware of this. I know that recently I found myself actually doing that, and things kind of really, it's something that happens, when you do that. And the word was surrender, right? I
Hmm.
think that I guess as humans, right, we have this thing with control. You just want to control everything. You want to put all the pieces and all the whatever, but it's something about when you just surrender, and
Right.
allow things to take their course, or nature to take its course, God to have his role, whatever, whoever believes.
Right.
I myself, believe in God, but it's something amazing that happens when we get out of our own.
Incredible.
And
And that's perfectly getting out of our own way. And I
yes.
think what happens is this. I believe that in each of us is this essence, is this, and especially women, we have this within us, but we push it down and then we have to do everything else. It's
Mm.
when I truly came to a space where all of a sudden all my belongings were reduced down to one room.
Oh wow.
I was, yeah, because I ended up renting a room from someone, and I was like, I have nothing. I have nothing. But I found out that in that one room, I had everything. And it
Wow.
really helped me to let go of the attachments of stuff. And
Mm.
my goal is in 3 years to have a tiny house so that I'm able to travel and do and all that. So it really has opened up a whole new space for me.
Wow. I love that. This is another point. I love that, right? Because having to reduce down, I don't know how big of a place you had before, but having to reduce to one room, that's not normal, for most
Right.
adults, right? But look what it sparked in you, right? Because everyone doesn't have the goal of wanting a tiny house. So I love,
Yeah.
again, just how you switch everything around to a positive. And that sounds so awesome. Like, I admire the people with the tiny houses, because then, like you said, you have the money to travel, you have the ability to kind of move more freely than a person who has this big huge house,
Right.
where some people are house poor, right? And with a tiny house,
Exactly.
that kind of eliminates that
Right.
possibility. So good for you. Yeah. All right. So tell us about what you would consider to be one of your strengths and one of your weaknesses, and how you overcome the weakness.
Oh, okay. So I'm super confident, for sure, right? And I think my strength is also I can do like 100 things at once, right? I'm a great multitasker, for sure, without a doubt. My weakness is, as much as I'm a great multitasker, I'm also horrible at keeping things organized, and like I always have journals and calendars and all of that, and I'm terrible at doing it. So the best thing to me is to have someone's getting ready to help me with all of those little details. And so she is a super organizer. So I said sometimes the best thing that you can do is whatever you're strong at, great. But there's also a yang to your yin, like there's that. And if you can find that other partner right there, it makes your life complete. So instead of me trying to keep everything organized, she's a super organizer. So I throw out 100 things and she catches them all and then reminds me of three more.
Wow, I love that. So is that for your business, or is that personally?
So that's for my business. But for personally, just because I'm wanting to have to downsize, one woman was on, she was doing some things about, hey, if you need to really kind of downsize and clean. So I'm hiring her to come in and help me. I took and I reduced down my clothing to a certain amount, but I still need to cut it in half. And so there's no way. So she's going to come in and she's going to help me. And they do this thing of like, look at the item. Do you love it? Has it brought you joy? And if not, say goodbye, thank you, and goodbye to it. So I'm bringing her in to help me with that. And then
Wow.
Sammy is like my assistant who comes in and helps me as far as with I Am This Woman to help to organize it and keep things going.
I love that. I may need someone. Now, what is the title? What's the title of the person for the house stuff? Well, I need it
Well,
for probably both ends, but I know an assistant.
yeah. Well, and you know what? They have different ones, but they have people who really they're kind of like a life organizer. And
Okay.
they don't have like she put it out on Facebook. I knew her, but they have people as far as that. They have like a simple life thing, and so what they do is they get certified in it to
Mm.
be able to come in and help you just minimize it and take it all down. And there's a show on Netflix about it. And it really is quite interesting when you see how much stuff we have. And really, we don't need, like,
Hmm.
how many times are you going to wear 37 pair of pants? right?
Look, I don't even want to tell you how many pairs of shoes I have. So like I might have to go right on to the next question because I'm feeling attacked.
You're like, I love my shoes. I love my shoes.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that. And that just to me brings back to, like no one is good at everything, right? But
Right.
just because you're not good at something doesn't mean that you have to lack in that
Correct.
area, right? So we have to be okay with asking for help, and okay with like, I'm not strong in this area, so then actually realizing, because some people don't realize, right? So realize that you're not strong and then seek to find someone who is so that your circle can be complete because we don't have it all, but that doesn't mean that we all can't be complete with our shortcomings. So I love that.
And you said it perfectly, your circle. A circle is complete, right? And then imagine that if it's a table, you have multiple chairs at the table.
Mm,
So who do you invite to your table? Be smart about who you're inviting to your table and be smart about who you're taking away from your table. Because
mm.
literally this week I had to remove someone from my table
Oh, wow.
who was not supporting me and who
Yes,
wasn't serving. And thank you for the time, and I'm moving on.
yes, yes. That's a great point. And I
Mhm.
like that because you said a circle, right? So even if you say a table, when you put the chairs around it, in a sense, it makes a circle also.
Exactly.
I
I
love that.
know.
I love it. All right. So tell us about what you're currently doing to improve yourself personally and or professionally.
Okay, for sure. Coaching, I have coaches. I think that if I'm going to coach someone, I need to know who's coaching me. I am constantly reading.
Mhm.
And if I don't know something, I'm looking it up. Right now, I have my show on Facebook. So now I'm thinking, how is it that I can get out to more people? So, how do I look at YouTube? How do I look at Instagram? So, I am constantly in learning mode. And I will say this, when the time comes for they put me in the grave when I go to heaven, and I'll say, so God, what school do we have here? Because I'll probably still want to learn.
I love that. That's the teacher in you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I love to learn also. I love that. Good, good. I feel like we're never too old. It's never too late. It's always a higher mark. It's always something more that
Right.
can be done or, something that we can improve on. And definitely am an advocate of higher education as well as just continuing to learn because you can learn from
Absolutely.
reading a book. You can learn from Facebook groups, right? It's all kind of ways that
YouTube.
we can get.
YouTube is your number one. It, whatever you want to know how to do, you want to make something, you want to bake something, you want to sell something, do something, go to YouTube. They will have a video on it.
Yes. All right. Okay, so can you tell us about what you do to make sure that you are staying full and showing up to the best of your abilities?
Yeah, for sure. I rest also. I mean, I'm going 100 miles a minute, but I also take the time to have joy, right? So I love taking myself to a movie. Okay. I go to church because I think that helps me spiritually with being
Hmm.
grounded.
Yep.
And I'm silly and I like to laugh and I like to have fun because I'm a big kid. So I think what I do is this: I play as hard as I work,
Okay.
and I make sure that if I'm feeling down, if something's going on, then I have an amazing team, like this amazing people behind me. That if I go to them, they're either going to do a couple things. They're going to let me cry, right? Because I have a friend who lets me cry. I have the friend who says, "Go ahead and cry, and when you're done, okay, you got about 30 seconds to cry. Now move on." Or I have the friend who's like, "Really? Here, let's go get a nice little martini that you like, and it's okay." So I think I really have surrounded myself, and it's that round table again with the people that support me. And then also knowing that there's going to be times when I'm going to be up and down. So let me start to look at when I'm down, I look at what am I grateful for? What is going well? And knowing that, life is such a gift, and how do we embrace it? And that's what it's for me, is 100% embracing the moments in life.
I love that. I love that. You made some key points that are all good, right? Rest, me time, right? Taking care
Mhm.
of yourself, spirituality, And having that circle, right? That circle. You came back to that circle, which is very important, having the right people, because some people can drain you, right? So, you can
Yeah.
be not full just by the people that you surround yourself by. So that's a great point. I love that.
It's so important to know that too, because a lot
Yeah.
of times we keep people in our life when I'm so sorry, we should say thank you so much, peace, and let them go.
Your time is
Yeah,
up.
it's been lovely knowing you. And then all of a sudden you give them a little slip and it says, thank you so much. Your services are no longer needed. We will review your application again in a few months. So,
Right? You know what? I love that. Let's talk about that for a minute, right?
yes,
Because it's a lot of narratives out here that has us thinking incorrectly, and it had me thinking incorrectly, right? Where it's like no new friends, right? They no new friends, right? But if your friends have always dogged you out, made you feel bad about yourself, talked about you behind your back, wishing bad things on you, which some of those you might not know, but some of them you can
right,
kind of feel when the love isn't there, right? But you still hold on to these people because a lot of times, I know for me, I always look at the good in people, which, don't get me wrong, a
right,
person can still have good in them, but not be
right.
good for you, right?
100%.
Exactly. We got to learn how to decipher that and be okay with cutting those ties. And it doesn't mean that you're saying this is a horrible person per se. It's
Hmm.
just like, we don't quite fit together. Like you said, maybe it's even right now. It might not even be forever. But for this
Correct.
moment, it's not working for me. And we have to learn to be okay with that, to make sure that we have the right people. The energy is so important, right? And some people suck and drain the energy.
Energy is huge. It is huge. And I think what ends up happening is a lot of times with women, we do this. And this is how I say I used to date and everything. You close that eye, you turn the head this way, you like, oh, they look okay. They look okay. And somebody else will go, something's wrong there. So I think what happens is that it's okay for you to say, in this time of my life, you know what? I'm going to be a yes to me. And that might mean being a no to something else and to
Mm,
someone else. And
yes.
it doesn't mean, because if it doesn't work for you, say thank you for what they did give you, and it's great, but move on. And the first and foremost, you can never take care of anyone else if you're not nurturing and taking care of yourself. So
Mhm. Yes,
surround yourself with people who do that.
yes,
I think
yes,
that's super important.
yes. That's a great point. Thank you for that.
Yes,
All
you're welcome.
right. So, can you tell us about your morning routine? Do you have a morning routine?
I'm getting better at my morning routine. Yesterday, you'll love this because I went and I bought a journal.
Nice.
No, because remember me and my journals, I probably will write about three of them and then stop. But
Oh, yeah.
it's sitting, it's sitting on the table. It's my gratitude journal. And every morning I'm going to write 5 things that I'm grateful for. So I did it. I woke up this morning and I did that. But one of the things I do is I am always thankful as soon as I wake up. Thank you for another day that gives me an opportunity to do something new, right? And what I've also done is that instead of trying to read the whole chapter in the Bible, someone mentioned to take a verse.
Hmm.
And so I take one verse and I read it for the week.
Okay. I like that.
Yes, and it's been really great about that. And then now I've started working out also. So I get up, I drink my water, and then I work out,
Okay.
and then I start my day. So I guess I do have a routine.
Yeah.
It's tiny, but it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, I like that. And I like the verse, right? Because we always think we have to do these monumental things, right? And then when you try
Lord.
to do so much, you end up burning yourself out and not doing anything, right? So if you do
Right.
small things over time yield big results, right? So I love that.
Right.
I love
Hmm.
your gratitude journal because they say that it takes three positives to cancel out a negative, right? So if you
Hmm.
focus on these five positives, what are you canceling out two, 1.5, whatever, but you're lessening the effect of negativity in your life. So that's amazing.
Correct.
Of course, we know exercise is good. I have to get back to there, so we're not going to talk about that
I just started it and everything's hurting.
Yes, I love your routine. That's good. Keep it up. My issue is I start them, then I stop. Start them, stop. So I'll be happy to get to a point where it's more consistent. But
Right.
I say start and stop as many times as you have to until you get there, right? It's progress, not perfection, right?
It's my motto in life. Keep on.
Yeah.
You know what? When I say no and completely stop, then that's it. But if I keep on starting, sooner or later I'll get it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. All right. So can you tell us about the last book that you either read or listened to and what it was about?
The Code of the Extraordinary Mind.
Mm.
Probably one of the best books that I've read. What I love about it is it talks about what is it that you really want and what do you want to create. And what I also really love about this book is it's really about the fact of he gives you lessons within the book. So it's not just you're reading, you put it down, and then you move on to the next book. There are different ways that you can look at it. And he has something in the book that talks about all the different rules that are in the world and how, what if you start to look at them and say, you know what, that rule doesn't really work for me because it's a societal rule, but it's not really something that is going to jive with what I want to do in life.
Okay.
It is fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite books.
Nice.
For sure.
Okay. All right. Do you practice personal affirmations? And if so, can you share one with us?
It's funny. On my arm, I have a tattoo and it says a committed life. And so and that's what Dr. King said. He says, don't tell them about the dignitaries I know. Don't tell them about my Nobel Peace Prizes. Tell them that I lived a committed life.
Nice.
And so I put it here because I never want to forget about being in service to people.
Okay.
And I never want to forget about making a difference in this world. So I don't necessarily have this overall affirmation, but I do have this thing, I guess, about what is it that I can do to help to make this world a better place while I'm here on the planet. You know, this is my scheduled time. And if I'm here and this is my job, what can I do to make it better?
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a little better than personal affirmations, right? You have a reminder with you everywhere you go.
There it is, right there.
I love that. Yes. And I love what it means, right? You know, a committed life. That's good. All right. So can you tell us about an aha moment you had lately and how you changed as a result of it?
An aha moment. I think my aha moment came when a friend of mine, I was talking to her and I was dating a few different guys. And I said, they're okay. And she looked at me and she said, but you're not an okay woman. And when she said it, within 2 weeks, they're gone. And funny, one came back, is trying to talk to me now. And I'm just like, that's not what I'm up to right now because I'm not an okay woman, which means that the man, my king who's coming, like I'm preparing myself. She impacted me in such a way that who comes into my life. And that means I'm not an okay woman for a friend or for a guy or for a job. It really has me in a place of this is who I am and let me rise to that occasion.
I love that. That just took, look, I had to sit back in my seat for that one. I love that. Yes, because we do settle as women and we do kind of, you know, it's like it'll be 10 things wrong and 5 things right. And we want to focus on the 5 things right instead of the 10 things wrong, you know, and why settle? Why settle? Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just have to wait.
And we don't get to settle. We don't get to settle as women.
Yeah.
We've settled enough in life. And it's like, and especially as women of color, we've been taught, this is what gets me. We've been taught to settle. We've been taught to say, no, don't say anything. You don't want to show out. You know what? Be quiet. Children, you can't be listening. You know, it's adult conversation. We've been taught to be quiet. And what I'm asking women to do is to speak up and to go deep within and say, this is who I am. And this is what I'm creating. You know, so it's time that we don't settle and we say that I'm not okay. I am great and I will stand.
I love that. You look, you are this woman. I know. I love that. And I felt your conviction with that. And that's the truth. And it needs to be, you know, sang loud and sang proud. So thank you. Thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
Right. Do you have a favorite quote?
Sure. It is Be the Change You Wish to See in the World by Gandhi, which is interesting because he didn't really say it that way. But if you read about it, he kind of talks about the world and what we're doing and what we're up to. And they kind of just condensed it down about really, if you want to see a change in this world, because we're quick to say, this is going on, or this is going on, or this is going on, and somebody else is going to do it. What it comes down to is, if it's to be, it's really up to me.
Yeah.
And so I get to be the change that I wish to see in the world.
Nice. Awesome. I love it. All right. So Barbara, before we hear more about your business and anything you have going on there, I like to ask some fun questions, and you should have great answers for these because you love travel, right? It's around travel. So tell us about your last vacation, your favorite vacation place, and your next vacation.
Okay. Last vacation was, let's see. I went to Cuba did a cruise.
Oh, nice.
Before they shut it all down.
I was going to say, you can't even go now, right? Yeah.
You can't go down. We were one of the last ones.
Okay.
And we were able to go there and go through the country. That was incredible to see how someone else lives and with everything that's going on. And it was powerful.
Yeah.
Favorite vacation. Oh gosh, Greece. Greece was incredible. Fantastic. I went to 3 different places, and what I love is I went to places that most people don't really go to.
Okay.
So Idra Island, which was absolutely fantastic. Got to see a Greek Orthodox Easter service.
Wow.
Which, this little island, no cars, no trains. You walk around or you take a donkey. And so that was beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And my next vacation, I'll be in Jamaica.
Nice. Pack me in your suitcase. Yes. Don't forget.
I know. There's like 10 of us going, so this should be fun.
Awesome. I can't wait to see some pictures.
Yes.
All right, Barbara. So thank you so much just for sharing about I Am This Woman, sharing about your journey and your beliefs, and just all of your great advice. I really enjoyed hearing all of that. So before we go, do you have any more information about I Am This Woman that you want to share with the listeners?
Yeah, of course. So with I Am This Woman, if we're looking for women who are sharing their stories, what they're up to, what they're creating, what they're doing, what they've gone through. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show, you can reach out to me at barbara@iamthiswoman.com. And I will definitely reach out and get back to you. And it's a fun show to be on. And what I love is it's growing, and soon you'll start to see our website is in production. So right now, as far as offers go, they'll be coming soon on our website. Definitely we're excited about having some retreats and some different events that are going to be going on, and some different classes for coaching, because I really am about women discovering their truth and honoring it and stepping fully and completely into their lives.
Okay, nice. I love that. And good luck with all that you're doing. Yes.
Thank you.
So Barbara, thank you again for joining She Leads Podcast, Leadership Empowerment for Women of Color. We appreciate your insight today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of She Leads Podcast, Leadership Empowerment for Women of Color. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please be sure to go to our Facebook page at She Leads Podcast to like or follow us. Also, let us know if this episode inspired you by leaving us a comment under the post for Season 6, Episode 6. Thanks. Until next time, be empowered and empower on.